Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. In this episode, we will check out the Stormfiends, an extremely powerful warscroll in Age of Sigmar.
Warscroll Review.
Stormfiends. Why do you do the things that you do? They have a great stat wheel, but bravery is a bit lacking. Though bravery could use some boosts, since the Stormfiends are often a small unit, bravery isn't a huge factor. There are a lot of weapon options, so this scroll is a bit daunting at first. But it's actually fairly simple when you break it down. You can either lose friends with Warpfire, or you can use some synergies to make Stormfiends into a powerful force that can either be equipped for melee or missile damage. I won't go through every weapon option, as there are a lot, but if you just remember, gauntlets do melee damage and have an extra wound, grinder fists allow them some deploying shenanigans, and there are 3 range weapons, but the Warpfire projectors are leaps and bounds better than all the weapon option variations. So why are Warpfire projectors so good? Well, they do an automatic 2d3 wounds at 8 inches away. They don't worry about hitting or wounding a unit, it only matters how big a chunk they took out. With a unit of fiends at minimum strength, they deal at least 6 wounds and up to 18, with an average being of 12. Yep, on the Stormfiends' average day, they are killing most monsters with 1 volley. The other weapons are honestly good at what they do. Many other units would love to use them, but unfortunately they are overshadowed on this particular warscroll. The only real weapon of note are the grinder fists. These act as a warp grinder team and allow you the chance to deploy in one of your movement phases, 9 inches away from the enemy. But as this can't get you into range of the Warpfire projectors, it isn't that big of a help. I guess if you wanted to bank on a double turn, you could add the grinder fist into a unit of Warpfire projectors and get some added value. This is probably the only time it would be recommended to mix Stormfiend weapon options. In general, it is often not very beneficial to mix weapon variations within units. The best thing to do is pick a specific role for a unit and stick to it. Remember that when building your army and the Stormfiend models themselves. Their one downside is they cost 300 points for 3, but that sounds about right for 18 wounds and a 4-up save. The Stormfiends are obviously solely a damage dealer, but that's okay because they're crazy good at it. If you're not taking Warpfire projectors, there are a lot of directions you can take your army in terms of synergies. The Chaos Battle and Command traits Unpredictable Destruction and Great Destroyers are going to be helpful for your fist-wielding fiends, while the Verminlord Corruptor's command ability can add an attack to their melee weapons. All 3 Packmasters have great abilities that can enhance the Stormfiends. They all can double the Fiend's bravery during battle shock tests. Squeal Gnawtooth and the Unnamed Packmaster can add 1 to run, charge, and melee to hit rolls, while Throt the Unclean can do all that, but adds 3 inches to run and charge rolls instead of 1, and has a command ability to allow them to pile in and attack twice, which is really great paired with any of the melee weapons, and means around 24 attacks on average with just a minimum sized unit. The Skaven Chieftain with Battle Standard can help with any of the Stormfiend variants, with rerolls of 1 to hit and immunity to battle shock. Probably the best unit to complement the Stormfiends is the Warp Grinder team. They will allow the Fiends to deploy 9 inches away during a movement phase, but by themselves that's not close enough for their Warpfire projectors. Alternatively, you can ignore all the things I just said and play the game on easy mode with the Clan Squire Battalion. This is a battalion that consists of a set of battalions. It requires an Arch Warlock and 2 to 5 battalions taken from a list of 5 different types. All of them require Stormfiends, but only one really benefits them, the Gauntlfire Scorch. This is what makes this battalion one of the most unbalanced in Age of Sigmar. It requires a Warlock Engineer, 1 to 3 units of Stormfiends, and 1 or a few Warpfire Throwers and Warp Grinder teams. The Warp Grinder teams skip their role and auto-deploy in the movement phase of your choice, and allow Stormfiends to get within 8 inches. Giving Warpfire projectors to these Stormfiends makes this insanely powerful. It is extremely hard to counter-deploy to protect yourself from a unit of 8-inch range, mortal wound weapon toting models that can deploy as close as they want to your force. It requires huge units of chaff and very defensive deployment or maneuvering to fully shield a unit from certain immolation. And remember, if the Warpfire projectors didn't kill the target, the Stormfiends can still charge in and do 2 damage with each of their 4 attacks. Stormfiends fit well into an all-Moldor clan force. They wouldn't be battle line, but 3 units of Moldor battle line is only 90 points, leaving you a lot of room for Stormfiends. In Clan Squire, they are Battalion, and this is one of the best factions if you really want to focus your army around Stormfiends. But you will see Stormfiends in just about any general Chaos Grand Alliance army because they are so good and don't need any support. How the Stormfiends are used really is dependent on what weapons they choose. The Warpfire obviously will be gunning for heroes, heavily armored units, and monsters, and will evaporate most things in one volley. There's really nothing they have to avoid, because on top of damage output, they have decent defenses. Even though they were dominating the tournament scene until Skyfires came along, you will still probably face a lot of Warpfire throwing giant rodent freaks. They have 6 wounds each, but with each model dead, they lose a significant amount of damage output. If you have any ways to reduce Battleshock test success, it should probably be directed at them, because even killing one forces a test, and failing by even one is extremely detrimental to the Fiend's value. If you're facing the Clan Squire Battalion, there's honestly little you can do to protect your important models from annihilation. Through extremely careful planning and deployment, you might be able to turtle yourself just right, but at what cost? You may be leaving yourself open to lose all the objectives. The best thing you can do is set your army up in a concentrated space. Accept that you will lose something extremely important and hope that you can muster a counterattack big enough to remove them so they can't do it again. In any case, Stormfiends should probably be at the top of your kill list. Obviously, Stormfiends are a 5 out of 5. The Warpfire projectors are honestly too powerful. If it weren't for them, their 300 points would be reasonable. The way things are, Stormfiends are extremely unbalanced. The best thing that can be done to balance them is adding a to-hit roll, or even possibly a to-wound roll for the projectors. I think we've seen that mortal wounds are a great balance to the game, but automatic ranged mortal wounds are a problem. Do you all agree with these points on the Stormfiends? Do you think they're game-breaking? What other Warscrolls would you like to see covered? Leave your comments below, and thanks for watching!